Jasper Fox of the Fox Cavalcade and Show of Shows. You should be expecting us.
We are, Mr. Fox. It's a pleasure. Ma'am? Oh, yes.
Miss Button, our seamstress.
Costume designer. Thank you very much, Mr. Fox. Now then, I must get the costumes up and pressed. Adelaide, Martine! Where should we set up then? We need plenty of light and plenty of space.
So for the eyes?
In order to see. There's my girl. Now then, where did you say? I had Bunting! Well, don't stand there gawking. Point. Into the trenches, girls.
Ladies, please follow Miss Button. Either find a way to aid in some small way or begin your warm-ups. Now, we have our backdrop props and some small bits of furniture.
Right through the backstage door. Right this
Please, please, we don't wish to interrupt your work. There's so much left to do here before curtain. Phineas!
Here? All balls and brightness.
Hardly. That's Bob's in focus. Bob, and the color's all wrong.
Got some work to do on this rigging, too. It's a
Well-
mess.
Gentlemen,
On to Mr. Fox.
Open up the lighter, Cleo.
I've got some spare lens in the blue truck. Show people.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Tana Walker and I'm the director of this evening's performance. Thank you so very, very much for being here and supporting the theater department at Willamette High School. This performance is particularly special as this was written by the wonderful Laura M. Robinson, who is here tonight. So fortunate to be able to give Miss Bunny another round, and I just cannot wait for you to see all the hard work that has gone into this show from these students. And so on behalf of the cast and crew,
my dear lady, thank you for starting us off in such a charming and eloquent manner. I am perfectly happy to take it from here, if you would be so kind.
of course, break a leg.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bureau Saloon in beautiful downtown Eugene, the cultural crest of the warm and welcoming Willamette Valley. My name is Jasper Fox, and I have the pleasure of being your host for this evening. Tonight, we will present a play that will take you from the depths of despair to the towers of triumph. You will laugh with glee, gasp at the audacity of not one, but two villains, and swoon at the love story that will unfold before your very eyes. But that's not all. We have some of the finest singers from around the world to dazzle and delight. Before we begin, we invite you, our audience, to be a vital part in the drama that will be played out upon this very stage. During the play, two of our delightful performers will take up a post at either end of the stage with signs such as these. Let's practice, shall we? First, may I introduce the handsomest of heroes, Mr. Lord Lawson! Next, we have our heroines, Miss Bunny Bunting and her star pupil, Miss Penelope Prescott! And last, but certainly not least, have the most vile of villains, Mr. Bartholomew Barrow. Well done indeed, ladies and gentlemen. And now, on with our Garden of Delights. Our first musical performance for this evening is Come Josephine in My Flying Machine by Betty Button and Phineas Furbington. stupendous, ladies and gentlemen. And now, before we open our curtain for a glimpse into the lives of Miss Bunny Bunting and those around her, we have one more musical endeavor. A Bird in a Gilded Cage by Adelaide Anderson. That was wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. So remarkable. And now, without any further ado, Act 1 of Miss Bunny Bunting's Bonafide Bells, or the Trail of the Tenebrous Tiara.
Whatever can this mean? Fiona, Archie? I'm afraid I don't know, ma'am. Perhaps he's just being friendly?
Ha! Friendly. I just the man with surveying equipment out of the back garden this morning.
Oh, gentlemen. Yes, of course, and you're here too. Hang the... Oh, yes, the portrait of my dear Franklin.
Perhaps now is not the best time, Miss Bunting?
Oh, and perhaps you're right, Archie. See to, will you? I'm so sorry, gentlemen. My dear Franklin will have to wait.
Fiona, Miss Bunting, we have lots to do today. Oh, dear, we can't worry about that right now. We have all these things that the girls are planning, and
I know, and with the voting and with the march, but that doesn't matter. What about this?
no, it doesn't matter right now. Well, maybe it does matter a little bit, but no, we must really do it.
Oh, Archie, please leave the portrait. I like to feel him near me.
Ma'am?
So,
I don't know what to do about this. What are we supposed to do about this?
well, I make a really good pot of tea, so
You can't just fix everything with tea.
I mean, like,
Mr. Bartholomew Barrow, Esquire, Headmaster Barrow for Likely Lad, Salem. This is just so unexpected. An all-boys school right next door? Young men can be so large and ungainly and loud and sports-minded, and the trampled flowers and the broken windows.
now, ma'am, you mustn't get yourself all riled up.
Oh, this is simply too much excitement for my poor head.
Just like poor Dorothy Kelly and All for the Girl. Can I get you anything, ma'am?
Who, Fiona?
Dorothy Kelly, ma'am. At the pictures. I love to go on my day off.
I see. Yes, my rose and lavender pillowcase. Thank you, Fiona. Please prepare tea for Headmaster Barrow and his assistant. They will call at 4 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, whatever am I to do? Oh, Franklin, if only you were here by my side where you were meant to be, lo, these many years ago. Oh, what happened to you, darling? Oh, Franklin. Franklin?
No, Miss Bunting, it was I, Penelope.
Oh, of course, Penelope, dear. I was just lost in my own little world there for a moment.
Is everything all right, Miss Bunting? I don't mean to pry, of course, I just...
Oh, of course not. I lost someone very dear to me many years ago, and not too long ago I found an old photograph of him. I decided to have it redone as a portrait, and doing so has brought him nearer than I ever thought possible.
Oh, dear Miss Bunting, I understand loss. Truly. I cherish my dear parents, but alas, I lost my favorite uncle under the most mysterious of circumstances. It weighs heavily upon me from time to time.
Oh dear, whatever happened to the poor man?
It must have been 10 years ago and more. He was my mother's favorite brother, the youngest, and he would visit us after his many trips abroad and tell me the most wonderful stories and bring me the most lovely trinkets. One day when he had come to our home, he was bursting with excitement, but he refused to tell my mother why he was so beside himself. He only said that upon his next return, he would present us with the most beautiful jewel in the world.
The most beautiful jewel.
But one day, Mother had received a letter. He was called away unexpectedly to South Africa, and his partner was concerned about the local unrest, and he was never seen or heard from again.
Oh, how very tragic. And yet, someone from...
It was thought that he got caught up in a foreign legion and perhaps was killed. Well, the loss devastated my mother, and she was never truly well after that. So the decision was made to send me to school, which is how I ended up with you, my dear Miss Bunting.
Oh, Penelope, whatever was your uncle's name?
I called him Uncle Teddy.
Oh,
But his first name was Franklin.
Franklin T. Fettlesworth. What? But how can this possibly?
Did you know my uncle, Miss Bunting?
Yes, my dear, I'm afraid I did. Please, have a seat. You see, I was his most beautiful jewel in the world, his precious gem, his...
You, Miss Bunting?
Yes. Franklin and I became affianced shortly before his disappearance. He had every intention to bring me from Salem to Portland to meet you and your wonderful parents. He told me so much about you all, especially you and your wonderful mother. I, too, received a letter that he was called away, and I, too, never saw or heard from him again.
Miss Bunting, how did you go on?
Oh, it was not easy, my dear. Oh, I had other offers, but I couldn't even consider them. But I always hoped... My father left me our family home, but little else, and I had to make a living. So I chose to mortgage the house and open the Bunting edifice for ladies' learning and enlightenment here in Salem. And here we are.
But why did you never reach out to us? Mother always had assumed that Uncle Teddy's news might be of a marriageable nature, but he divulged nothing in fear, I assume, of spoiling the surprise.
Alas, I did not know your mother's married name. He only referred to her and your father as Mary and Robert, and you were always his shiny penny.
Oh, Miss Bunting.
Oh, there, dear. If there is something that I've learned in these last 10 years, it is to look at every day as though you're looking through a stained glass window. There are many facets, many colors, some darker shadows, but light so bright it blinds, and all together is a thing of great beauty, which is what every day should be, my dear, a thing of great beauty.
Miss Bunting, Miss Penelope, it is now 12 o'clock. Shall I serve lunch? Would you like to freshen up before your tea guests arrive?
Oh, Fiona, I don't believe I will be having lunch today, but by all means, serve the young ladies.
But Miss Bunting, you must eat. You can't keep...
That will be all, Fiona, thank you. I will meet you in my room. Well, my dear, we have some unexpected revelations, have we not? But you came to see me on another matter, I'm sure.
Oh? Oh, yes. Well, some of the other girls and I were working on our costumes for the final organ Votes for Women march on Monday. We found some of this cloth in the upstairs closet. May we use it?
Oh, why, of course you may, my dear. It is such a noble cause. I cannot believe the question will be put up to a vote so soon.
Oh, thank you, Miss Bunting. We'll be out of your way before your guests have arrived.
Guests? Oh, guests. Penelope, might I impose a favor upon you?
Anything, Miss Bunting?
As I said, my dear, unexpected revelations, and if I may be so bold, they've made me feel quite close to you, Penelope.
And I to you, Miss Bunting. Like family.
Yes, my dear. The new Boys' Academy, Mr. Bartholomew Barrow, Esquire, has rather brazenly invited himself to tea today. I would very much appreciate it, Penelope, if you would attend this rather impromptu occasion. I feel I would draw much strength from your presence.
Miss Bunting, I would be honored.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Now, run along, dear, and fetch the others. You may work here until it's time for tea. Oh, Franklin, who would have thought? I truly believe it was more than fate that sent me your shiny penny in my time of need. I can only pray now that she'll be my lucky penny, too.
What about these two? No, I think it looks better with the blue. You're right, too much red. With the white? Yes.
Ta-da! Liberty enlightening the world.
Hooray! You look wonderful, Penelope.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you, girls.
I love your crown and your robe. Wherever did you get them?
You won't believe it. Archie made them for me.
Archie? That old one?
Delphine.
He's not that bad.
Penelope, he's pretty awful, and you know it.
Clover? Well, he found me surrounded by paper and glue beside myself because I couldn't make the crown come out the way I wanted to. And he said, "Here, Miss Penelope, I've got just the thing."
I don't believe that for a minute, Penelope Prescott. You cannot stand there and tell me he said all of that together at once without a single growl or harumph.
Okay. Perhaps it was more of a humph, give it over, I'll fix it.
Well, he did do a very nice job, though perhaps not in the nicest of ways.
Lily.
He has only been here 3 months, but Miss Bunting has found him indispensable.
Can you blame her? I firmly believe in a women's right to vote, but I'm happily rights to cleaning out the gutters and scaring bats out of the attic to men. Clover, I am disappointing you. You are perfectly capable. I never once said I wasn't capable, Delphine. I just don't want to.
Ladies, we must finish this up. Monday's the big day.
The last big parade before the vote.
I wish Miss Bunting would join us. Poor Miss Bunting. She does seem to have a lot in her mind.
I just can't believe the story about her fiance and him being your uncle, Penelope. So sad.
And so romantic, like Anne Shirley and Gilbert Blythe. Tarzan and Jane. Oh, phooey. You're still reading the Five Little Peppers.
Girls.
About Miss Bunting, girls, I don't think romance, however tragic, is the issue at hand. Have you noticed things have been a little leaner lately?
What do you mean, Penelope?
I know what she means. Fewer cookies and cakes at tea. And Fiona says oatmeal is good for you, but we have had it every morning for weeks.
Oh, ladies, forgive me. Did a baseball come through here?
I believe this is yours, sir.
Am I dreaming? She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Why, thank you, Miss.
My heart, it's a flutter. Prescott. Penelope Prescott.
Lock Lawson, Miss Prescott.
Pleased to meet you.
Miss Bunting is going to be less than pleased over her broken window.
Oh, Clover, please don't be rude to Mr. Locke.
No, please, it's all right. It's all my fault. I'll fix it. I rescued a kitten from a drain pipe yesterday, and my catching hand's been a little bump since, but I will pay to have it repaired.
What on earth?
Everything's all right. right, Fiona. It's just
And
there.
who are you?
Lock Lawson, ma'am, I'm responsible for the broken window. I'm terribly sorry. If you have some wood, I could board it up for you until, well, I could get it fixed.
Why, aren't you as tall as Alfred Paget from the Lesser Evil? Regardless, I'll have you do no more damage than you've already done. Archie!
That was a spectacular miss.
Did you find the ball? Oh, good one, Lawson.
Gentlemen, may I present Miss Prescott and...
Oh, Miss Lily Landry, Miss Delphine Dunruby, and Miss Clover Catterby.
Mr. Wayne Wadsworth, Mr. Shane Shepard, Mr. Blaine Brooks. All my fellow students at the Barrow University for Likely Lads, Salem.
Balls!
I hope you don't mind me saying, but Miss Bunting seems to be terribly patriotic.
No, I mean, yes, but
We're just getting ready for the parade on Monday.
I love a good parade.
What are you parading for?
Why, women's right to vote, of course.
Women's right to vote?
Indeed.
It's on the November 5th ballot. It's quite an important issue.
Well, yes, of course. For women.
For everyone, Mr. Shepard. I think you would find that women bring a unique perspective to many of the issues currently faced by Oregon.
The whole country. Miss Anthony says that there will never be complete equality until women themselves help to make laws and elect lawmakers. What say you, Mr. Lawson?
Me? I'm not even old enough to vote myself.
That does not mean you can't support the future of this country by campaigning for such a basic right for half the citizens in it. Mrs. Claflin Woodhill says that if Congress refused to listen to and to grant what women ask, the right to vote, then what is there left for women to do but become mothers of the future government? And that is you, the future government.
Wait, really? Miss Claflin Woodhill?
That's somewhat,
Bohemian of you.
Indeed.
Future government indeed, and the worthiest of causes. What might we do to assist?
Why don't you join us in the parade on Monday? I'm sure we have enough scraps to make all of us up.
That sounds like a terrific idea.
Terrific.
I'm so sorry to have digressed. The Barrow Academy is the new boys' school next door?
Yes, the headmaster is Bartholomew Barrow, Esquire.
Oh, I believe he's having tea with Miss Bunting this afternoon.
Oh, why yes, he and Mr. Ratcliffe.
Mr. Ratcliffe?
our athletics instructor.
I believe they intend to make an offer to purchase this property.
What? Where'd you hear such a thing?
Well, we were on our way over to the gym room and passed a gentleman with some very fine surveying equipment.
It was a fancy setup.
So of course we stopped to chat up the chap.
Please, go on, gentlemen.
He said that Mr. Barrow is planning to put in an offer for this old Bunting place, and they're surveying for a new athletic field.
The old Bunting place?
A new athletic field.
Yes, right where this house stands. It's be a magnificent arena for all sorts of sporting events.
It will not only be used for the Barrow Academy, but open to the public as well. He says the Willamette University Willamettes may even play there.
But Miss Bunting's, I mean, our school. Where would we go? What would we do?
There must be some mistake.
Well, obviously, old chum. I'm sure Mr. Barrow wouldn't dream of encroaching on such an exemplary edifice of education.
Commendable Conservatory of Culture.
Ideal! Institute of Instruction!
Well, we should be getting back to our practice.
Pleasure, ladies.
I don't suppose any of you would be interested in watching?
Watching? I'll get my bat.
I'll get my gloves. Get mine too. It's in the mudroom.
Ladies,
Finally, somebody else to play with. Hopefully they actually know how to hit a ball.
Well, Miss Prescott, it was a pleasure. I don't suppose you would like to join us?
Oh, the pleasure was all mine, truly. I really must stay, however. I must clean up the remainder of our mess, and I promised Miss Bunting I would join her for tea, and I must decide what to say about Barrow's proposed plans, and oh.
Oh, there, Miss Prescott. We don't know for sure that the boys overheard quite rightly, and Mr. Barrow can be a little rough around the edges, but I can't believe he means any ill.
I just don't know what we students would do, what Miss Bunting would do, especially since she...
What? What is it, Miss Prescott?
Oh, Mr. Lawson, I wish I knew if I could really, truly trust you.
Please, call me Locke, Miss Prescott. You can trust me. Really, truly.
I don't know why, but something tells me I can. Oh, please, Locke, you must call me Penelope.
Her name is like a song in my heart. I would be honored to, Penelope.
Well, Locke, if I must unburden myself of my concerns, I'm so happy to have someone like you to listen.
I'll do more than listen, Penelope. I'm here to help. Her voice is music to my ears.
Well, just before you and I were introduced, I was about to tell the girls I suspect Miss Bunting may be suffering from a shortage of funds.
What makes you think such a thing?
Poor Miss Bunting. She seems to be worried all the time, and I've noticed a change in the menu. She's not eating like we should, and we've had fewer outings, and...
I'm sure all of those things could be explained in a number of ways, Penelope. Please don't worry. I'm sure it'll work out. And I'm sure that if money is the issue, that Headmaster Barrow won't take advantage of her. In fact, he may be the answer to her prayers.
I don't see how, Locke. Mr. Barrow might be interested in purchasing the property, but that would mean Miss Bunting would be giving up her family home, her livelihood. I just don't know what to do.
I hate to see you so unhappy. It must work out. It will work out. We'll figure out something.
Well, Locke, do you really think so?
When I look into her eyes, I'll want to lay the world at her feet.
I feel like I could trust him with my very life. But can I, on such short acquaintance?
Miss Penelope!
Now see here, young man.
Fiona, Archie, Mr. Lawson and I were just tidying up the parlor before tea. Look, Mr. Lawson, would you be so kind?
Well, how do you like that?
Is he one of the young men from next door?
Breaking windows and breaking hearts, that one. Speaking of broken windows, it's here.
Gentlemen.
What on earth?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Archie, it may as well be done.
Miss Bunting, your tea guests will arrive shortly. Surely the mess.
Perhaps you're right, Archie. I'm terribly sorry, gentlemen. Perhaps another time.
Shall I fetch Fiona to set up for tea, Miss Bunting?
What? Oh, yes. Forgive me, Archie. I have too much on my mind. Please give me a moment, and yes, please fetch Fiona. No. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The mercantile, the butcher, the milliner. Whatever am I to do? Oh, I thought Pop would be so proud of my little school, but I have failed him and my students. And what's to come of the young ladies? Oh, Franklin, if only you were here by my side where you should have been, lo, these many years ago. What happened to you, darling? I need you so. Oh, just to see your face.
I have the tea things, Miss Bunting.
Oh, Fiona.
Wait, Miss Bunting, are you quite all right? Can I get you anything? Your rose and lavender pillow.
I'm quite all right, Fiona. Just a slight setback. Please leave the tea and fetch Miss Penelope. She will be joining us for tea.
Yes, ma'am.
Archie.
Yes, Miss Bunting.
I'm sure our tea guest will be arriving momentarily, and we don't want to keep the gentleman waiting. Please see to that Fiona opens the door promptly, and you may return to the garden.
Yes, Miss Bunting.
Everything all right, Miss Bunting? Oh, why, of course, dear. Please don't worry your head about it.
Miss Bunting, Mr. Bartholomew Barrow, Esquire, and Mr. Richard Radcliffe.
Of the newly established Barrow University for Likely Lads, Salem.
Mr. Radcliffe! It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Mr. Barrow, Mr. Radcliffe.
And who might this lovely creature be?
Oh, may I present my top student, Miss Penelope Prescott.
Indeed, Miss Prescott. I do believe one of my students has been singing your praise all the morning.
How kind, Mr. Barrow. Now, how do you take your tea?
Yes, Lockwood. Despicable do-gooder.
Your tea, Mr. Barrow? How do you take it?
Oh, did I not say, my dear, with plenty of sugar?
This very touch chills me.
And how do you take your tea, Mr. Radcliffe?
What? Oh, quite plain, my dear Miss Bunting.
Lovely weather for November.
Yes, indeed, quite nice.
Frightfully nice.
Why, this time last year wasn't half as lovely.
Yes, indeed, quite stormy.
Frightfully stormy.
Miss Bunting,
Yes, Mr. Barrow.
perhaps I might do you the courtesy of coming straight to the point.
Please do, Mr. Barrow.
I've spent the better part of 3 months transforming the property next door into a tip-top tutorium for the betterment of young men. I have schoolrooms, I have a gymnasium, I have students. The first phase is complete.
The first phase, Mr. Barrow?
Yes, my dear Miss Bunting, I am excited to announce the second phase of this most wonderful plan of mine, the Bertrand M. Barrow All Sports Arena. Named after my dear departed papa. Quite the sportsman himself.
Oh, dear Mr. Barrow, the noise, the dust and confusion. I don't believe my little school and its students could survive such a second phase. The first, if I'm quite honest, was almost too much to bear.
But that's the beauty of it, my dear Miss Bunting. You won't have to worry about your little school surviving the work involved in the completion of my arena.
Oh, I won't?
Not at all. It won't be here.
What?
That is the point, dear lady. I wish to buy your property.
Buy the school, Mr. Barrow? Oh, I cannot sell it. This is my family home.
I quite understand, Miss Bunting, but I am afraid I must insist. The expansion of my school and athletic facility will draw sports-minded people from all over the state. Think of the tourism boost for the capital. Think of the health-minded curriculum. Think of the entry fee.
Radcliffe!
Forgive my indelicacy, Miss Bunting, but it has come to my attention that you are, shall we say, facing fiscal frustration.
Oh, Mr. Barrow, I can assure you I'm facing nothing of the kind.
Miss Bunting, allow me to aid you in your time of need. A quick sale for a modest sum to help you through this terrible time and give you a small nest egg against the future.
Oh, dear. I feel quite faint. Oh, let me help you, Miss Bunting.
Why, Miss Bunting, I can see that this talk of your financial troubles has quite overwhelmed you. I wouldn't dream of bothering you any further on such a lovely day. Thank you so much for the tea, Miss Prescott. Such an absolute pleasure. Treasure indeed. What a remarkable pearl. I wonder how I might leverage her.
Radcliffe! Miss Bunting, Miss Prescott.
Mr. Barrow, might I inquire the sum you thought might be appropriate?
No, Miss Bunting, you mustn't consider it.
We must have all the information at hand.
Radcliffe?
This is
Quite sufficient, given the sad state of things.
Quite insufficient, Mr. Barrow. Anyone who knows anything about the current real estate prices knows that...
And what could you know of such things? A mere girl.
I am in my third year of economics with Miss Bunting. I am well aware of the...
Home economics, I'm sure.
That is quite enough, Mr. Ratcliffe. No need to be rude. However, to Mr. Ratcliffe's point, Miss Prescott, there's no need to worry your lovely little hair about such things. Let the grown-ups handle this.
I will have you know, Mr. Barrow, that I am 18 and will graduate from Miss Bunting's in June. I am well informed on a number of subjects beyond cooking, cleaning, and sewing.
What a pity. How nice that Miss Bunting has chosen such an unconventional education for you and the other young ladies here. I must insist, however, that you allow Miss Bunting to make her own financial decisions. I would not imagine you would crassly involve yourself in matters that have nothing to do with you. Such an embarrassment to Miss Bunting and all of her terribly hard work.
Oh, Miss Bunting, I meant no disrespect.
No, of course you didn't, dear. I'm afraid, gentlemen, that I truly am not feeling well. Would you be so kind?
Why, of course, Miss Bunting. I will return soon.
Ladies.
Can you believe it, Miss Bunting? The nerve! Are you quite all right? Oh. Oh! Miss Bunting, Fiona Archie, someone help!
What on earth?
Miss Bunting! Well, what happened here, Miss Prescott?
Oh, it was that awful Mr. Ratcliffe, now horrible Mr. Barrow. He said terrible, terrible things.
Barrow, was it?
Yes, he's trying to make poor Miss Bunting sell her home so they could build a sports arena.
Just like Riley Chamberlain at the foot of the ladder.
Gadzooks.
Archie, please! Whatever the circumstances, never use slang around the young ladies. Come now, Miss Bunting. There you go. Miss Prescott, as soon as we get her upstairs, you stay with her. I'm going to run down to the kitchen and make her some tea. Archie, I will need some mint from the garden. Here we go. Never have I seen Miss Bunting so upset. Why, I knew our belt had tightened a little bit, but I never thought that she would sell her school, her home.
That's it! Enough is enough. Fiona, I need to go away for a few days.
Away? But you haven't fixed the broken window yet. There are things to be done around here, Archie. The place isn't sold yet. And plus, what will Miss Bunting do without you?
Fiona, I need you to trust me. And I need you to cover for me with Miss Bunting. Tell her anything. Tell her I have a sick aunt. Fiona, I need to catch the evening train. Would you be kind enough to pack me a small sustenance?
Well, I like that. You abandoned us in our hour of need, and you have the nerve to ask me for a sandwich.
Fiona, I'm doing nothing of the kind. I am hoping to help, Miss Bunting, but I can't help here. Please, Fiona.
Never have I heard you say the word please before. You're a gruff grump of a man, Archie, not too far from John T. Dillon in the Musketeers of Pig Alley. But still, I know Miss Bunting relies on you. And I do too. Do you promise you'll be back?
Neither wild animals nor bandits will keep me from it, Fiona.
Very well. And against my better judgment, you pack your things and I'll meet you at the back door with a little something for the train.
Many thanks, Fiona. You're a peach.
A peach? Archie, why, I never.
Oh, my jewel of jewels. That's it. Perhaps if I leave a note. Okay, oh, jewel of jewels, the tiara is here, and...
Oh, Archie, I don't mean to intrude. I hope to find Penelope. The ladies invited us for a marshmallow roast, and I haven't seen her.
Mr. Lawson, I am just on my way out.
Oh, don't let me keep you. I'll just wait for Penelope, Miss Prescott.
Archie, what is keeping you? The train leaves in Mr. Lawson.
Train? This is rather sudden.
Well, I really must be off. Be a good lad and hail me a cab, will you? I will fetch my bag and be down in a jiffy.
But have you spoken with Miss Bunting? Is everything all right?
Sick aunt.
How odd. I thought I'd heard voices. Well, what are we to do? Poor Miss Bunting is on the verge of losing her home, and to be offered such a dismal sum by that...
Penelope, there you are.
Locke.
Penelope, what's wrong? The other young ladies were kind enough to invite us lads for a marshmallow roast.
Oh, Locke, I'm afraid in order to tell you what is amiss, I...
What? Please, Prescott, you can tell me anything.
I do so hate to speak ill of anyone. But your teachers, Mr. Barr and Mr. Ratcliffe, oh, Locke, they're veritable ruffians.
Ruffians? Penelope, I don't mean to question what I'm sure is excellent judgment on your part, but Headmaster Barrow and Mr. Ratcliffe certainly seem to be perfectly decent gentlemen. I mean, Mr. Ratcliffe is an athlete, a true man's man, and Headmaster Barrow is well educated, quite the sportsman himself.
Locke, you must believe me. I know you and your fellow students are very enamored at the idea of a new sports arena, but it has been confirmed that the complex will, in fact, sit right on top of our school, on Miss Bunting's home. I was right here in this room when Mr. Barrow behaved in the most ungentlemanly manner and not only broached the matter of Miss Bunting's failing finances, but boldly offered up proof in the proffering of her very own bills. Then he went so far as to offer her the most inconceivably low sum towards purchasing the property. Miss Bunting came quite apart.
Oh, well, there you are, Lawson. You've been gone for quite a bit. We haven't seen Miss Prescott at all.
Felt the need to track you down.
And get this show on the road.
Why, Penelope, are you all right?
Whatever has happened, the marshmallows await.
Oh, girls,
I'm afraid the roast will have to wait, gentlemen. I fear there's a bit of underhandedness afoot.
Underhandedness?
There may be more to Headmaster Barrow and Mr. Ratcliffe than meets the eye.
thank you, Locke. I was afraid he wouldn't believe me.
How could I not, Penelope? The more I am with her, the more my heart is drawn to hers.
What's this? Underhandedness from Baron Ratcliffe, you mean?
It seems unlikely, old chum.
It seems so to me as well, until a certain someone explained it in a way that seems irrefutable.
His confidence in me makes the sun shine brighter.
I'll explain some more on the way back to Barrow's. We'll do a little snooping of our own to see if we can find some more proof of their plans. Penelope, let the young ladies know what is going on, and try not to worry about anything but getting us ready for Monday's parade.
Until tomorrow, Locke.
Until tomorrow.
Now, Penelope, what on earth?
I was hoping for another marshmallow.
I'm so sorry to have interrupted you, fun girls, but this is important. We must find a way to help Miss Bunting.
Miss Bunting? Oh, Penelope, were you right about her financials?
Clover, girls, I have so much I want to tell you. Here, come upstairs with me and I'll explain everything while we finish up the costumes for Monday's parade.
Gentlemen, please wait here. I will see if Miss Bunting can see you.
Oh, she'll see us if she knows what's good for her.
Mr. Ratcliffe, my conversation with colleagues simply means that we have some excellent news for Miss Bunting regarding our proposed plan for her pecuniary problems.
I'm sure. He's got more nerve than Ray Myers in The Invaders. Please wait here.
Let me see that paper again, Mr. Ratcliffe. You mustn't let it fall into the wrong hands. Tell me again how you acquired it.
Well, I was on a late evening stroll, you might say, and I happened past the broken window here. I looked in, and I saw that old grumpy gardener talking to himself. I heard him say something about jewels and a tiara, so I bided my time until the room cleared out, snuck in, and grabbed the paper from where he dropped it.
Jewel of jewels, the tiara is here. He must have come across some proof of its existence here in this house, and has probably been digging away on his own little scam to rob Miss Bunting of her final hope. I think not, old man. That pleasure will be all mine.
You sound as if you knew of this tiara, Mr. Barrow.
I suspected that idiot had sent it on before his unfortunates.
Idiot? What idiot?
What, Ratcliffe? Oh, Miss Bunting, what a pleasure it is to see you again.
Mr. Barrow, this visit is unexpected and on a Sunday.
Yes, Miss Bunting. I happened to glimpse you in church.
Him in church. I'm surprised the place didn't go up in smoke.
And given some new information that has made its way to me, well, I simply couldn't resist the opportunity to continue our conversation.
Oh, whatever can you mean, Mr. Barrow? Fiona, would you be so kind?
Tea, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Oh, don't play the sly one with me, Miss Bunting. Here you had me on the path of ridding you and your ridiculous attempt at a school to make way for the money-making venue of the ages, only to find out that you have been holding out on me.
Holding out, Mr. Barrow? Whatever can you mean?
Oh, we know, Miss Bunting.
Mr. Radcliffe. Miss Bunting, it has come to my attention that there is something of great value in this house.
Great value, Mr. Barrow? I can assure you there is nothing
Miss
of...
Bunting, please, let us play games no longer. I have proof that there is, in this house, a jeweled tiara. Fetch it, and you have seen the last of me.
Tiara? How could he possibly? What I wouldn't give to see the last of this villain. I can assure you there is no tiara in this house, jeweled or otherwise, Mr. Barrow.
Miss Bunting, Fiona had asked me to bring in the tea. Would you like me to?
Oh,
Not
yes.
quite yet, my dear. Radcliffe? I would like you to peruse these papers, Miss Bunting. I have been in touch with your bank, and I am currently in the process of purchasing the deed to this dwelling.
But you can't. When next we meet, I was going to tell you that I'd scraped together a small sum in order to hold off the foreclosure.
Foreclosure? Oh, Miss Bunting!
Well, luckily, the bank is no more patient than I am.
But Mr. Barrow, isn't there anything...
Why, yes, there is. You can produce that tiara immediately, and all of your troubles will disappear, along with myself and Mr. Radcliffe.
Tiara? But I have but 2 pieces of jewelry in this house. My engagement ring and a locket given to me by my poor departed papa.
Well, then you can give those up as well. I have proof that there is a tiara in this house, and it will be mine.
Mr. Barrow, Miss Bunting has stated that there is nothing of great value in this house. By insisting otherwise, you are maligning her good nature. Surely there
And
is...
this, Radcliffe, is what comes from educating women. The assumption that their opinions may hold value from beyond the vessel of which they vault.
Mr. Barrow, education is a right for all citizens of this great nation, men and women. For how many men in this country would have received their education, but at all not for educated women sitting at the head of the classrooms everywhere?
The women of this state are just days away from gaining the right to vote, Mr. Barrow. Just you wait and see. Times are changing, and women...
Will certainly not be voting. What a candy-colored puff of a pipe dream. What use is there in polling women on important issues like tax reform? I do not foresee a question of muslin versus velvet being put before the state Senate.
Roses versus tulips, pie versus cake.
Penelope! There you go. I know what Barrow's planning. There's a tiara. He's...
Well. Mr. Lawson, a champion, if I've ever seen one.
Hammer hero, defenseless do-gooder.
Mr. Radcliffe. I get the impression that you have been snooping, boy, and are considering meddling in matters that do not concern you. You'll get back to your dorm room if you know what's good for you.
Anything that concerns Miss Prescott concerns me, sir.
Well, then concern yourself with this. I have given these wearisome women until Friday next to produce this hidden headpiece. If, come Friday, the concealed crown has not made an appearance, this property is mine. This building is razed, and any hopes of college for you, my boy, are out of the question.
Mark, no!
The police.
The police? Ha! If the police are brought in, well, then Miss Bunting's poor financial troubles are brought to light, and her poor attempts as a didactic director of damsels are at an end. I have some business that takes me out until Friday next. Radcliffe will be at the school watching you lads until I return, and then the expansion can begin. Miss Bunting, Miss Prescott, Radcliffe!
Whatever are we to do? Ruination is upon us. Oh, Miss Bunting, Fiona, help! There. I'll make sure her room is ready and we'll get her tucked up for a good rest. How shall we go on?
I know the situation seems impossibly dark, dearest Penelope, but please don't lose hope. We have until Friday. We seem to have convincing proof that somewhere in this house is something of great value which will aid us in our troubles. All we have to do is find it.
You're right. We must start looking immediately.
Wait, Penelope, you must get some rest. Think of Miss Bunting. Tomorrow's parade.
Locke, how can I even think about that silly parade with such insurmountable sorrow here at home?
Silly. Penelope, you have worked so hard. This parade could be the turning point for something of such import that the echoes will be felt long after we're gone.
But
right will prevail. It has to. We're going to stand for what is right by marching in that parade. We're going to find this tiara and save Miss Bunting's.
Oh, Locke, I have her room already. Yes, of course, Fiona. Oh, I have to believe him. There must be a way, but never have I ever felt the depths of such a despair.
Penelope!
Coming!
Women need our help today. Women need our help today. Tell them sing all the way. Tell them sing all the way. We're from Salem. We are Oregon. We're from Salem. Oregon. What do we want? Voting rights. When do we want them? Today. What do we want? Voting rights. When do we want them?
What do you bunch of women want to vote for anyways? They don't know anything about politics.
We know more than you think, mister.
I read the Oregonian just as much as I read the Ladies' Home Journal. All of you know.
Go home to your babies and your kittens.
Would you be so cheeky with your own mother, young man?
My mom's happy at home and you should be too.
Yeah, who's good?
That's what you're really worried about.
Your stomach.
It's ridiculous to have a license to peacefully execute a march for a women's right to vote.
What's with all the ruckus?
It's supposed to be a peaceful march.
Now! One at a time, please.
Who is crazy women from that? They need to go home and break the law.
I've had about all I can take from you, sir. All of you. Officer, we have a license to peacefully execute a march for a women's right to vote.
All right, that's enough. All of you. Such within rights.
Simmer down, Lieutenant. I doubt arrives what anyone had in mind, did. Am I right, ma'am?
Too right, officer. A peaceful march is what we signed up for, and a peaceful march it shall be.
Well, seriously, let's how cool are your feet?
It's an embarrassment.
All right. Today is your lucky day, sons. My wife is a suffragette, and I am proudly named. Hello, Minnie. Yeah. Now you, gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely, need to clear the way.
Ridiculous. This is democracy.
All right, you heard Sergeant. Move along. Cough and lock up for a couple hours. Get going. Hooligans.
You heard the sergeant. Everyone up the Capitol set. What do we want? Voting rights. When do we want them? What do we want? Voting rights.
Boy, it's cramped back there. My. For a moment there, I was as worried as Lieutenant Abel that we were going to have a riot on our hands. How do you feel, ladies and gentlemen? Are you enjoying yourself so far? Well, we have more intrigue and excitement coming up for you in the second half of our show. But for the present, we shall break for a 15-minute intermission. We have concessions for purchase out in the lobby. We look forward to entertaining you further in just 15 minutes.
It's very dark back there.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed your intermission and had a chance to sample some of those delicious concessions. Now, before we reopen our curtain and resume our show, we have a performance by Martine Morris. Beautiful, simply stunning. And now, please welcome Betty Button with a wonderful rendition of Every Little Movement.
The shortish and the bulbous when she's late.
about the fate of the Bunting edifice for ladies' learning and enlightenment. I shall step aside and allow this drama to continue. Act 2 of Miss Bunny Bunting's Bonafide Bells, or the Trail of the Tenebrous Tiara.
We sure showed those hecklers.
Epic.
Who are they? What are they doing here?
Weren't they?
Well, okay.
Life
goes on.
That was an excellent pie, Miss Penelope.
Was?
I'm so happy you enjoyed it, Locke. It was group effort, wasn't it, girls?
We'd never have managed without Fiona.
She's the best cook in Salem.
She likes baking almost as much as she enjoys moving pictures.
She should open a bakery.
Mm-hmm. Fiona, her pies are sublime. Her cupcakes, delicious. And pastries are prime.
What book are you reading?
Penelope, is everything all right?
Yes, of course. No, it isn't, Locke.
What is it? What can I do to help?
Everything just seems so overwhelming. Organ's on the cusp of making such an important decision. I should be elated, overcome with excitement, but given the circumstances here at Miss Bunting's, I'm finding it difficult to raise a cheer.
I know you're worried about Miss Bunting and the school. Headmaster Barry's lucky he's left town until Friday. Well, if I had him here right now, I'd...
Locke! Violence is never the answer.
Well, I don't know what I'd do. But it gets me so steamed to see lettuce threats dampen the joy of such an auspicious occasion.
I am worried about his threats, Locke. Why, if we can't find that mysterious tiara, then we'll never have enough money to buy back the deed to Miss Bunting's school and save her home from that horrible Headmaster Barrow and those awful, awful things he said about education being wasted on women and there being no point to allowing women to vote. I can't get them out of my head.
Please, don't give up, Penelope. We'll think of something. We must.
I just don't know, Locke. With people like Headmaster Barrow against us, perhaps it's time to give up the dream that women will ever grow beyond hearth and home.
Are hearth and home so unimportant?
Well, of course they are important. It's just that sometimes I wish.
For something more?
Yes, Locke. I feel so very strongly that I have something to offer the world, and someday I do want to be a wife and a mother and a stenographer or a scientist or a senator.
Miss Penelope, I firmly believe you can be all of those things. All of them and more. If anyone can do it, you can.
You don't think I'm being foolish?
Miss Penelope, you're the most beautiful, amazing, unfoolish person I know. And I, for one, am 100% behind you.
Well, Locke, whatever do you mean?
We're going to get out there this afternoon and raise enough votes to get that bill passed. We're going to find that darn tiara. And we're going to save this school.
Oh, Locke.
Capital.
I'll have a shot at it. What's first, Lawson?
First things first. We need to... Penelope, what do you think we should do?
Well, first things first. This is a group effort. We have 19 hours until the polls open. We must get every man in this forward-thinking, modern-thinking metropolis behind the voting rights for women.
They say the way to
They say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. What better way to reach the hearts and brains to this city's men than through Fiona's pies?
Lily and I will head to the kitchen to ask for some of her help, and we'll get a bite of Fiona's very berry voting rights pie on the taste buds of every voting man in Salem.
Clover and I have been working on a duet. With the small lyric change here and a minor key adjustment there, it could be the best voting rights anthem this city has ever heard.
We'll fine-tune it. Then I'll take the streetcar straight to City Hall. We'll sing all the way there and all the way up the steps to the Capitol building.
Those sound like wonderful ideas. And we have 4 days to thwart Headmaster Barrow's plan of raising our beloved school. The rest of us must buckle down in the search to find that missing tiara. Right now, it's the only thing that can save us.
We've searched so many places already.
Shane and I may be able to help. We found this old book in the library.
A history of the Bunting mansion.
It has stories of trapdoors,
Secret passages.
hidden compartments, and a map.
We'll divide and conquer then. Right, Penelope?
Right. Everyone to your battle stations.
I can't believe it. One more day and this could all be gone. What a mess those youngsters have made. Do they not realize I clean this house every day? Oh, my goodness. It's like I don't even know, some natural disaster of some kind. Oh. Those great galumphing boys, in and out, up and down. Never have I seen Miss Bunting so upset. Why, I knew our belts had tightened a little bit, but... And Miss Prescott? I've never seen a droopier daisy in my life. And those great galumphing boys, in and out, up and down, and huge muddy footprints. Ah!
Why, Fiona, my dear, allow me to relieve you of your burden.
What? No,
I must insist.
How dare you!
Come now, Fiona. You can't blame a man for trying. Think of how pleased Mr. Bear would be if I could simply produce the tiara with no fuss, no muss.
Why, I never, Mr. Radcliffe!
You never what, Fiona? Perhaps it's time you did.
Ah! Stay away from me!
Oh, come now, Fiona. You seem to be such a place for everything, and everything in its place sort of woman.
What are you insinuating, sir?
Surely if anyone could lay their hands on a bit of jewelry, it would be you.
Me? I'm at as much of a loss as anyone. I've never seen such a thing in this house.
Well, perhaps you just haven't looked hard enough.
I beg your pardon. I have been working here for as long as you could.
Perhaps we could search together, you and I, all the nooks and crannies in this big old house. There must be plenty.
I will do no such thing. Kindly keep those great paws away from me and any nooks, crannies.
Oh, consider, Fiona, the team we'd make. I the brains and the brawn, and you, the lovely ornamentation.
That does it! If you don't leave this house this instant, I will scream.
Scream away, my lovely.
It seems oddly familiar.
Oh, what? Of course it does. I have come to you in your dreams.
Don't be ridiculous. You in my dreams.
And why not? I am certain.
Miss Bunting!
Until next we meet, my sweet.
Why, I never, just like Charles, female of the species. In the parlor, Miss Bunting. I mustn't say a word about this and worry poor Miss Bunting further. We have got to get that window fixed.
Ah, Fiona, there you are. Whatever were you doing and who were you talking to? I thought I heard voices.
Oh, no one, ma'am. Just talking to myself.
What a shame. I had so hoped Archie had returned. No word from him at all?
No, ma'am.
Oh, I simply don't understand it. Just to disappear so suddenly without a word to me? I'm sure he gave no clues to where he was going, Fiona.
No, ma'am. Just a sick aunt.
I feel so foolish.
felt that I could trust him. From the moment he appeared looking for work, I felt it deeply. And now he has just disappeared as mysteriously as he appeared. I never dreamed my judgment could be so wrong.
You mustn't believe that for a moment, Miss Bunting. Old Arch is a grumpy old soul, but he wouldn't hurt you for a pot of gold.
But he has, Fiona. He truly has. And on top of everything else, I could really use his
bad temper. No. Grumbling when asked to fix anything.
No, Fiona.
His great bushy eyebrows.
Fiona! What am I gonna do with you? You really shouldn't be laughing at a time like this.
Best time to laugh, if you ask me. I'll be back, Miss Bunting. You mark my words.
I hope you're right, Fiona. I surely hope you're right. Has there been any word on the voting? Any announcement of any kind?
No, ma'am. Same as yesterday. The ballots are being counted, and it looks as though it will carry.
Well, at least we can continue to have hope about that, if nothing else.
Miss Bunting, you mustn't give up hope. We have until tomorrow morning, and those youngsters have been going through this place like a cyclone. If there's anything to be found, they will find it.
Unfortunately, that is the one thing I know they won't do.
Did you say something, Miss Bunting?
Yes. Please send in Miss Prescott, and I believe you should start on supper, such as it is.
Well, if nothing else, there's always left of her pie.
Oh, how am I to tell poor Penelope that I've not been 100% truthful? There truly is no hope left.
You sent for me, Miss Bunting?
Yes, please, sit down.
Is everything all right, Miss Bunting? Has there been word from Archie? I know his absence has weighed upon you.
No. Yes, it has, but that is not why I asked to see you. I've not been entirely forthcoming with you, my dear.
Miss Bunting?
The search, tiara, I suspect I may know the one to which Mr. Ware refers, the one that has his household in such an uproar.
Why, that is wonderful news.
No, my dear, I'm afraid it isn't. You see, the tiara exists, but only in a cherished memory. What do you mean? Do you recall the stories we told about your Uncle Teddy, my darling Franklin, and his strange disappearance?
Why, of course.
Just before he disappeared, Franklin sent me a photographic portrait of himself. With it, he sent a beautiful letter in which he talked about his plans when we could finally be together. In it, he referred to a beautiful tiara he had specially made for me to wear on our wedding day. The photograph showed him holding it.
But where is this photograph? It'll help us know what we're looking for.
No, my dear, I'm afraid it won't. You see, he was supposed to bring it with him. No Franklin, no tiara.
But in the conversation that Lockett overheard, Mr. Bear and Mr. Ratcliffe said that the tiara was here, and why would they say that if it wasn't true?
I don't know, Penelope. Perhaps they were misinformed. I simply know the tiara was supposed to arrive with your uncle, my darling Franklin. And it never arrived. And neither did he.
Oh, Miss Bunting, we must be strong. We must persevere. Perhaps it was a different tiara, or the tiara did arrive just under unexpected circumstances.
If only I could believe that to be true.
Oh, Miss Bunting, you must. We cannot and will not give up. Now, where is that photograph?
I sent it away to have a painting done of the photograph. The painting has arrived, but I've not yet seen the return of the original.
May we look at this painting?
Oh, why, of course, dear. It's just right over.
Miss Bunting! Miss Bunting!
Fiona, what is it?
It's a telegram from Archie.
Archie?
Yes, Miss Bunting, here.
Oh, Fiona, I'm quite overwhelmed. Would you please read it?
Yes, of course. All is well. Revelations to come. Not to worry. Coming home.
Oh. Whatever could all that mean? You couldn't be more vague if you were Fred Mace talking to Mabel Normand in Mabel's Lovers.
Oh, Fiona, really?
Well, perhaps it just means that his sick aunt is doing better.
Well, at least he's coming home.
Unfortunately, to a bigger mess than
we will persevere.
Not until after dinner you won't. It is ready, such as it is.
Fiona's right, my dear. We shall have something to eat, and then I might have a bit of a nap, and then I promise we will continue the fight.
Well, once again, Fiona succeeds with superb sustenance.
Oh, Wayne. Where do we start, everyone? We've searched the entire house from top to bottom.
We must be missing something.
I'm
afraid we have failed.
Don't say that, Penelope.
It might be right under our noses.
Let's give it another go.
Miss Bunting was right. Those villains must have been misinformed. Why, there's nothing here.
How is Miss Bunting?
I don't know. She went up to her room after lunch and she hasn't come out.
Poor Miss Bunting.
We don't have much time, lads. One more push?
Leave nothing unturned.
Not one boater or bonnet.
Not one shine to pound, not one costume crown.
Hands in, lads.
All dressed up and no place to go.
Tennis, anyone?
Muzzle them out!
Ooh, prankster.
That's silly.
That's key.
Grease monkey.
Ew, skidoo. No fooling?
No kidding.
I've got your number.
Jake.
Gentlemen, please wait here. Miss Bunting will be with you shortly.
Such a pleasure, Miss Fiona.
You are certain the tiara has not been found?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Barrow.
Well, no matter. As useful and immediately enjoyable as the money from such a piece would have been, I will still be able to press my advantage through the deed on the house. We will simply proceed with our original plan, Ratcliffe.
Were you successful in your purchase of the deed?
Not quite yet. There are one or two minor obstacles, the banker said.
Obstacles?
Minor. He said that there was nothing to worry about, a matter of days. Oh, Miss Bunting, lovely as ever.
Hardly, Mr. Barrow. I've been up all night.
And have you had any success in locating the tiara?
I'm sure you know we have not.
Such a pity, isn't it, Mr. Ratcliffe?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Barrow.
Well, then, Miss Bunting, the time has come to finally resume.
Miss Bunting!
Ah, yes. The persnickety Miss Prescott and a stumblebum Swain. Please do tell me you have found the tiara and are here to save the day.
No, you louse.
Heavens, Mr. Lawson! Have we forgotten our manners so quickly? Settle down, Miss Ratcliffe. Certainly not a way to behave to your elders, Lawson, and in front of the ladies.
Locke, please don't let him anger you.
Listen to your simpering sweetheart, Lawson. Don't do anything that you might regret.
Oh, please, Locke.
Of course, Miss Bunting. Penelope.
Now, where were we?
No tiara.
Right. No tiara.
The closest thing we could find is this.
Utterly ridiculous. Truly pathetic. Is that truly the best you could do? Miss Prescott, such a foolish young woman with all your spouting and nonsense of voting women and education. And just see how far it has gotten you.
Stop it, you're hurting me!
Of course, you could consider throwing your lot in with me. I am going to be rich. Life with me would be far more exciting than with that suffocating star.
Never. Locke is 10 times the man that you are, you scoundrel!
Bad form, Headmaster. Bad form.
Penelope!
Stay back, all of you! Miss Bunting, to the chair. Ratcliffe, the papers. Now, Miss Bunting, you will sign this promissory note deeding this house to me, or unlovely Miss Prescott will find herself a sleeping beauty.
No. Penelope!
Oh dear, my hand is shaking.
Sign, Miss Bunting. I do not have all day. I have a sports to do.
Batter up!
No, 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 no.
Take that, Bolton rogue!
How dare you! You broke my nose!
Archie!
That's it, Sergeant Sharp. Lieutenant Abel, the one holding his nose.
Don't forget him, Ratcliffe.
Wait.
Yeah, same with the judge, rat face.
Oh, Archie, I'm so very happy you've returned to us.
Miss Bunting, I must confess.
So must I, Archie. I'm afraid your lovely headpiece is ruined. What on earth? How can this be? But I know that tiara. My darling Franklin had it made for me in Africa. It was to be a wedding present upon his return. He even sent me a photographic portrait of himself, and in the photograph he was holding it. This very one, Miss Bunting?
Why, that's impossible.
How can you be sure?
You must be mistaken.
I have the very painting of which I speak.
What's astounding?
It looks like the very one.
It is the very one. Sarah, do you mind stepping aside?
Archie!
No. Can it be? Uncle Teddy?
Yes, my shiny penny. It is I.
Oh, Franklin, is it truly you?
Yes, my dear, my most beautiful jewel. It is I. Oh, how I have missed you.
But where have you been all these years, and why did you come under the guise of such a grumpy gardener?
And how fares your sick aunt?
There is no sick aunt, my dear. I had enough of Barrow's shenanigans and took myself off to Portland to sell some property. My intent was to use the money to buy this house to keep it from the villain's clutches. Luckily, I got to the bank before Barrow. The banker was able to tell me that you were not yet in foreclosure, as banded about by this burdensome bandicoot. I explained the situation, and the banker aided me in a plan to hold off Barrow long enough to return home and reveal all.
Oh, Franklin!
Hoist by my own petard.
But why ever did you hide the tiara, Archie? Or Mr. Franklin?
What Barrow never told you was that he and I were once partners in South Africa.
No!
Yes, it's true. I split with him because of his underhanded business dealings with the locals.
You were a fool, Peddlesworth.
Was I? It was my own respected relationship with the locals that saved my life when Barrow attempted the unthinkable.
No! Inconceivable.
Word got to me that he was planning to do away with me out of spite and recover my half of the business. I was in a small cafe looking like death itself, I'm sure, when I was approached by a fellow who noticed my hanging dog face. Turns out he was a young actor trying to make his way to the States. We chatted for a while, and I don't know. There was just something about him that was trustworthy somehow. After all I've been through, you would have thought it would have been just the opposite. I just felt it was the right thing to do. I gave him the money I had with me to help him on his way, and entrusted him with the tiara.
My tiara?
Yes, my dear, and not a moment too soon. That very night, I was set upon by ruffians who beat me and left me for dead. Took everything I had.
No.
I was found by some local friends who spirited me away to a distant village, where it took me several months to recover.
But however did you get through, Mr. Fettlesworth?
With thoughts of his beloved, of course. Silly.
As much as I would love to say yes, no.
No.
Once I was physically healed, I was left with one insurmountable malady. Amnesia.
Oh no! Oh, Franklin.
It took me years to fully recover my memory. I had vague flashes from time to time, but it wasn't until I ran to Barrow about a year ago and it all came flooding back.
What? Where? When?
Oh, you didn't recognize me. Sure I have. Much changed? But you were laying into the shopkeeper, who was a local, just like you had so many years before, seeing the same behavior that caused me to dissolve our partnership.
But I still don't understand, Franklin. All those years, thinking you had changed your mind? Or joined a foreign legion?
Or worse.
Well, the fact is, once I got my memory back, all I could think about was you, my dearest bunny. But I was also concerned with the havoc Barrow continued to wreak. I made inquiries and discovered that he was headed back to America. His business dealings with the locals had soured to the point where he was on the verge of losing everything.
What a surprise.
Curse you, Lawson, and you snooping snoop prince!
He had done his research. He remembered you, Bunny, and my love for you, and the tiara I was supposed to be sending as a wedding gift. He supposed, as it has not been found on my person when I was attacked, that I must have sent it on.
But I don't understand, Franklin. Your memory restored knowing I was here? Why did you never come see me as you?
My dearest Bunny, after 10 years, after I had failed my love, I was too afraid that the woman I loved had moved on with her life.
Oh, my dearest love, never, never!
I was foolish. Once here, I saw that you were pining still. It was all I could do to maintain the facade.
But sir, why did you?
I wanted to put Barrow's evil machinations to rest once and for all. I contacted my actor friend, who agreed to a little subterfuge of his own.
If you don't mind asking, Archie, Mr. Franklin, who was this actor? I'm such a big fan of moving pictures.
Why, it was none other than Rupert Rutherford.
Rupert Rutherford? I've seen all of his pictures. The Maid in Minnetonka, The Curse of the Caterpillar Coin, The Insurmountable Nazi!
Well, he is quite the talent indeed.
And what role did he play in all this?
Well, I felt it best to have someone working on the inside, as it were.
I believe that the best scene I ever played out was right here in this parlor. And Miss Fiona?
What?
What? Radcliffe?
Sorry that I kept you cuffed so long, my friend. Couldn't resist Barrow's reaction at the big reveal.
It was a bit long-winded, but well played, old chum. I might see you in the movies one of these days.
Well, I better on the farm things. Miss Fettlesworth, we'll take this one down to the precinct and get a book.
Many thanks for your help, gentlemen. You are a credit to your profession.
Wait, this cannot be!
I will be revenged on you, Fettlesworth. No, that you can't be having no good at you.
Bye-bye, birdie.
Well, my jewel, I suppose there's just one thing left to do. Miss Bunny Bunting, my most beautiful jewel, after all this time, will you marry me?
Oh, Franklin. Yes, yes, I will marry you. It calls for a celebration. We have some leftover, very voting rights pie, all laid out in the dining hall.
I would be most happy to assist Miss Fiona. I'd like to make up for my earlier behavior, scripted though it was.
Scream away, my lovely. Angel of Death, 1910. Not very original, if you ask me.
Not very original. That line was written by Lloyd Lonergan, one of the greatest writers.
A match made in heaven.
Indeed it is. It's like ours, my dear.
Locke, just an hour ago we were in the deepest depths of despair. Can you believe such a happy ending?
We had low moments, but we never gave up, Penelope. Penelope, speaking of happy endings,
Yes, Locke?
do you think there may be a chance in the future for a happy ending of our own?
Oh, dearest Locke, I'm sure of it.
With all of the excitement around here, no one bothered to look at the morning paper. It's official. They've cleared it. Women have the vote in Oregon.
What a triumphant day.
Do you know what this means, Locke?
I believe I do, Miss Penelope.
I know that I have something to offer the world, and someday I do want to be a wife.
And a mother.
And a stenographer.
Or a scientist.
Or a senator. Or a director.
I don't doubt it for a minute.
Now that that's settled,
Well, Locke, I could not be happier than I am at this very moment.
This calls for a celebration all the way around. Fiona!
A step ahead of your Archie. Mr. Franklin, how about some
Hi.
very voting rights pie?
Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening. You have been a wonderful audience. Good night.
Hold on. We would like to invite Mrs. Walker up on stage, as well as our wonderful playwright. And then yeah, there she is. I feel like that we would all personally like to thank Mrs. Walker for directing this wonderful show. As well as you for writing it. It was such a wonderful show, and we loved doing it.
You guys were fabulous.
Shucks.
You truly wrote such a beautiful show, and I'm so happy that I got to participate.
We would like to thank all of you guys for coming. Cheers. Okay, now we can run.